All right, welcome everybody. Hey, we're back this afternoon. We got a special guest on, Jonathan Seller from and our buddy Steve from Michigan. So we got the Michigan crew here in the Bizinga podcast. But before we get started, I did want to share a picture with everybody. I didn't want to be negative. I wanted to give a shout out to the burger study in downtown Indianapolis. Was fantastic last Thursday night. My wife and I got to go there. It's an extension of St. Elmo's Steakhouse. The burger study, so it's like a library kind of scene, and it
You
was
said that was by
phenomenal.
St. Elmo's? St. Elmo's Park?
Say Elmo's is involved in it, so it's a branch of their brand, and it was incredible. The best, probably one of the best burgers I've ever had. It's a burger, but yet it's like eating, I'm not a big eat real fancy, but it's kind of fancy, I guess, if you had to say it that way. But that burger doesn't look too fancy to me. It looks like big, greasy, and good. So we like that stuff. So I wanted to share that. So Steve and Jonathan are going to take over here, and I'm going to stop sharing that picture because that's enough of me. So Steve, tell us what's going on. Jonathan, what's happening? Welcome to the show. You guys can run with it for a minute. I'll jump in when we want. All right.
Yeah, I just want to give you a little bit of background. Jonathan and I are in the same chamber, Troy Chamber here in Michigan networking group. And, we've been going to that for years. And so we enjoyed that. And so Jonathan and I got together and talked about like some of the things that Jonathan is doing. He's a pretty exciting guy, he does a lot of neat things. And so, Jonathan, tell us a little bit about your background and some of the things that you're involved in.
Yeah, thank you, JD. Thanks, Steve, for having me on. Hopefully, through a little bit of my story and my background, your listeners can get a little bit of value maybe and apply some of these things to their own career. So my story really, I never thought that I would touch the digital marketing space or the sales space. My last name is Seller. So with a last name like Seller, I guess it was kind of inevitable that eventually I would, find a career in sales and marketing. But I ended up studying theology, went away, got a master's degree and all that. And just, I love thinking deeply about things. And eventually, I worked at a local church setting. Started a church, saw that grow from basement of 20 people to 400 people, then left, worked at a mega church, did a lot of different roles inside of small, medium, large size organizations, nonprofit world. But obviously in nonprofit world, you don't really make a lot of money. I don't know if that's news to anybody, but it's not why you do it. But I've always felt like instead of whining about it, I should just do something else with the extra time that I had. So currently, I'm not married, don't have any children, so I didn't really have any excuses as to what I was doing from 5 p.m. till, midnight or whatnot. So I eventually found YouTube and just started Googling ways to make money online. And I discovered all sorts of paths that the internet has created for us as far as, digital marketing and affiliate marketing, things like that. And so my mind started getting curious, started thinking, what could I sell? What could I do online that would generate a good amount of profit, a high profit margin, and not a lot of costs in ad spend? And so I actually stumbled upon the mattress industry because at the time that was kind of an industry that was taking off. The whole bed in a box. You guys familiar with that? All the different brands like Casper, Purple, you name it.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of options there, right? I mean, it's pretty competitive.
Yeah. So that space has really taken off because it's solving a pain, right? The pain point of going into your local furniture place, talking to some shady sales guy who wants to, throw a high-end product on you. And then you got to find a truck. You got to get it home. You got to, cram it through the hallways. And hopefully it's the right mattress that fits for you. So obviously these guys who discovered how to shrink these mattresses and put them in a box and ship it to your house and assure you with a 100-day return policy, they were onto something. And now this industry has exploded. So I discovered it in the early ages. And I guess what I was looking for and what I'd encourage your audience to do when it comes to like products or careers or things, find the things that are trending and are hot and ride the wave. Because there's all sorts of things out there right now. So for me, I started looking at who are the players in the space that I need to be attached to. I found a company named Purple. You may be familiar with them because their marketing ads are incredible. They spend 6 figures at least in paying a company to create the ads, the commercials. So I encourage you guys, check that out. So I contacted them. That's, I think, the difference between me and maybe what everyone else was doing. I don't have any fear of going to the top. I think it's best if you're trying to do some sort of networking, you're trying to get in front of decision makers, call to the top, find a way to get to the decision makers, because these are human beings just like you and me. They take phone calls, believe it or not, they take meetings, and you have an opportunity that you know, it's a way of setting yourself different than everybody else. So I just contacted the owners, said, hey, I feel like I could be a really good face for your brand. I feel like I could do some review videos. I could, you know, make a statement for your product, whatnot. And I gave them a game plan of what I wanted to do. And they ended up sending me a mattress, and I tried it out, did a video for them, and I just posted it. And the cool thing was I said, hey, do you guys have like an affiliate link I could use on my video? This is way back when like it was kind of a new thing. And they're like, yeah, we're actually just launching it, so you'll be one of our first. And I thought, this is great. So I attached that link to the bottom of my video. And long story short, I ended up making over 6 digits from one video on YouTube in the course of 9 months. My total ad spend that I drew attention through Facebook ads and Google AdWords was a total of $7,200. So again, minus the ad spend, all costs associated, I was north 6-digit income, net income off of one little video. And that really opened my eyes to the power of digital marketing, affiliate marketing, the internet in general. So that's kind of how I got my feet wet in this space.
Boy, we're gonna have a long conversation today. I'll tell you right now, that's a really cool deal, real cool story. But yeah. So there's power in videos, right? So I mean, we can start there. I mean, videos, is that something that you still find yourself attracted to using today? Is there still, if you're doing something for another client or anything like that?
So here's the thing. The way I own a digital marketing company called Second Try Media. The try is TRI. And we encourage all our clients toward our package, which includes video services. Obviously, video is far most effective on Facebook. Facebook's one of the best places right now, currently still, to throw some ad spend, just through the retargeting. I love Facebook to be able to retarget. And so we always encourage video. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of ways to shoot a video. I call, there's professional videos, which are usually multi-camera shots, got a lot of clean transitions, you know, it just feels fancy. Then there's videos that are more organic reach, and that could be anywhere from like, you know, a guy with a cell phone like this, and you know, one single camera shot, usually a face to drive home the message. So depends on the platform, depends what the goal of the ad is, but we do both of those for our clients. And yeah, I just think, especially with Facebook's change with their algorithm, how they're honoring engagement. So the ads that are going to see the most face time are the ads that are being most, like, people are going to be engaged with the most. I think that lends itself to seeing more video on Facebook than ever before. So yeah, I totally believe that we're living in the day and age where if you don't have a solution for video, like, you're missing out.
I think it's just one of those things that you know, I always, this is my favorite thing, Jonathan. I always do this, and everybody that's watching this is going to say, "Oh, I'm tired of hearing JD say that. That's stupid. It's getting old." But I'll say it. You know, it's about sharing your message, right? What a medium to share your message on social media. And you know, I do this with people. I just did it with a client yesterday. I said, "Hey, I cut myself with a paring knife yesterday. I went to the closet and I grabbed what I put on it," and he said, "A Band-Aid." And I said, well, it was an adhesive bandage. A Band-Aid's a brand. And I said, then I had to clean out my ears with what? A Q-tip? No, that's a cotton swab. Q-tip's a brand. Kleenex is a brand. We went through the whole thing, right? And when people understand that you have a message, you have a brand, you are different. Everybody's different in some way, shape, or form. And everybody can say, hey, we have the best delivery. That can be a differentiator. And at the same time, it can be a differentiator for a lot of different companies, but it can mean something different to every company. And how you define that and how you use that. And I think, people say, well, what should I post on Facebook? So Jonathan, this is one of my favorite questions. I can't wait to hear what you say. I want to do my own Facebook stuff. You're telling me it's important as a marketing agency. What do I post? What do I put on my business Facebook page? What do I do?
So if you're a business owner, you've got a Facebook page. The last thing I want to hear is how awesome you are as a brand, how awesome your company is, how long you guys have been in business. I think marketing that creates your brand, yourself as the hero sucks. Your customer's the hero. Your customer is the one that you need to be addressing and talking up. So in all your ad and all your websites and stuff, if it's always centered on like yourself and how great you are, you're not communicating the message properly. You want to be able to hit on actual pain points that your prospects have, and what type of, how does your company, your brand, your product eliminate those pains? Then you get my attention, because your prospects are people just like you who, they're busy, and you got to be able to catch them right away. And I don't know of a better way than saying like, hey, you probably are dealing with this. Maybe you don't feel like you're getting in front of enough clients, whatever. Hit on the pain point and just clearly resonate with them on that pain point, and then offer them help into how your company, your product might fix that. But don't just spend time on social media bragging about how great you are and, your company was founded on this and you're the best in customer service. And like, no one cares. Everybody says that. No one really cares.
So any strategies, any special strategies out there that you like and let's just be honest, most businesses and most business owners today understand Facebook, right? They probably understand that more than Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and all that other good stuff that's out there. But from a Facebook standpoint, do you have any strategies?
Yeah, I think you got to be authentic. You got to be true to yourself. People can read you like a book. It's funny because I train. I do sales training now professionally, and so we just hired 3 callers for us, and it's amazing because we're having a conversation like this, but you get them on a phone and it's immediately like, "Hi, it's Jonathan. I'm looking to speak to Bob, please." And the tone changes, and you're just like, "No, don't do that." But somewhere in our brains, we've learned like sales mode. Like we go into sales mode and we go into features and benefits and how great our product is. And if you buy now, that stuff is noise in today's world. Like if you want someone to skip over your ad and video real quick, be the sales guy. I think what resonates with people is just being authentic. That's why like this works. Like just you and a camera. I like what Gary Vee says. He says, stop creating, just document. So if business owners like are driving in their car to work, they're like, hey guys, it's Monday, really excited, got a lot of clients we're going to be meeting this week. I love what I do because I get to meet the coolest people and help them with the roofing. Everybody needs a clean roof. So I find value in that. Like little videos like that, it's just like, oh, this guy loves what he does, believes in what he does. And I feel like every little video he does like that, he's increasing in credibility, increasing in likability, and he's on my news feed, which means he's top of mind. We got to think of the long game, not such a short game all the time. Yeah,
I think, and I know Steve's going to jump in here in a second. I can see him getting ready to pounce. He's getting ready to pounce over there. But, I laugh because I see people. I'll give you an example. We have a client that he came to me a couple of years ago. He was just on the podcast I guess about a week and a half ago. And he's a small business guy and he cleans out dryer vents, Jonathan. So he comes to me 2 years ago and he says, hey, I'm going to start this business, JD. I'm going to start cleaning out dryer vents. And I'm like, hey, dude, you should close that business before you start it. That doesn't sound like a good idea. That's exactly what I told him. And I was wrong, because he uses our platform for some reviews and gets some great customer testimonials, some great customer feedback. And and it's shared, right? It's shared on Facebook. It's shared on his website or whatever. But then about a year and a half ago, I said, hey, Facebook Live is big. And, so I didn't come up with this. This is where I think the innovative comes in. You have to be, like you said, you have to be your own person. You have to be innovative. And he goes live as he's cleaning dryer vents. And if you could imagine, have you ever seen a dryer vent cleaned?
No, I haven't.
It's the ugliest.
Like, what's he doing?
It's the ugliest, nastiest stuff flying everywhere. You could, talk about a visual, right? I mean, this visual is just like, and then he posted, there's just some strategy about maybe sharing it. So like, we have chatters here in Indianapolis, like Facebook chatters for Avon and Greenwood, and he shares that. These things go like 67 to 8,000 deep every time.
Yeah, he's smart.
Yeah, it works out great, right? It's just okay. So now he's got 3 trucks, and he's a stud, and he's got all kinds of great reviews, and he's a very personal guy, and he's got a great character about him. But
he's just arbitraging human attention. He gets how to get human attention. Like, for instance, like when I'm driving down the highway and there's a car accident, you know why the traffic slows down? It has nothing to do with the car accident. It has everything to do with the gawker staring at it. It's the same with, do you remember like remember on your newsfeed, Instagram, Facebook, all those pimple popping things? There's like a pimple popper thing. You could people would watch. There's literally Facebook people that are called like Dr. Pimple Popper, and they got millions of views, and because people like gross, nasty things. And so he's just arbitraged humans going, oh, I know humans are going to like to check this out because it's going to be nasty. So I'm going to do a Facebook Live and show it. And he's not asking for a sale. He's not saying, hey, so sign up today and I'll clean yours. He doesn't have to. He's just top of mind, and people are going, oh, if that dryer vent is in someone else's house, I wonder what mine looks like.
That's how he ends every one. He goes, what's in your dryer vent?
Yeah, there you go. That's beautiful. I think I'm going to get into a new business.
Yeah, let's start it up. I need a drill and a wand. I'm good to go.
Love it. That's awesome. Yeah, man, document, don't create. And people are so they're like, oh, I don't have the video camera. I don't have the studio. I don't have the right look. I'm not a video guy. And it's like, no, you're missing the point. Just be in front of your news feed, say hi, join some Facebook groups, throw your video out there, just get people's attention. That's the name of the game.
Oh. Yeah, that's something that we've been doing here with this podcast. And, when, I saw JD start this thing, and I thought, that's pretty cool. I want to get involved in that, because, we're just like off the cuff. We just want to be, like real people. We don't want to, sit there and give any type of a sales pitch. But, we do like to talk about our platform, and we like to talk about our, various different clients and the success that they've had. Or, a guy like yourself where we've never really worked together other than, going to that meeting and seeing like what you have to offer. And that gives like a whole new dimension of what we're doing here. So, it's a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And, obviously I was telling you, Jonathan, I know you do a podcast. You shared that with me earlier, but this is, it's tough to go live, right? It is. It's not the easiest thing just to turn the camera on and go. And
right.
Some people freak out about that. We've had some people lock up on camera before, but who cares? It's all good. But hey, so look, Jonathan, you're training people on sales, right? I got to ask you something. All right. So, we have this review platform, and I think it took me 2 years to come up with this sales strategy, which is probably 2 years too long. But what do you think about something like this? We offer a 5-day proof of concept, no charge. And so for 5 days, we're just going to do this review thing. If you like it, great. If not, we'll part as friends, and maybe I'll still come buy a mattress from you. How's that for just breaking down and taking out all the animosity? And there's 3 things that happen, right? I told you I'm working for you for free for 5 days. You can't hire anybody for free. You get to evaluate the product, and I gave you an out before I even asked you to get in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about something like that?
Yeah, I think that's good. I might just add to it that, before you launch into your product and the features and the benefits and the deal you got going on right now, I think just beginning communicating addressing the pain that the business owner, or in your case, whoever the prospect might be, and just sort of like reminding him of that pain, because it's like when you
mean like that 1-star review that they might have or something of that nature?
I don't know. I would want to understand if that could be the pain. For him, it might be he feels like he's missing opportunities. He pays for Google AdWords, but has noticed a decline recently because he noticed other people have more reviews. Maybe he doesn't even know the significance of reviews online. So, I would just begin with one of the things I do is, like, when we teach people, a quick way of starting any 30-second commercial isn't, hey, I'm Jonathan with Sandler Training, and here's what we do, da-da-da-da-da, and I give 3 things that we do. No, I actually address 3 pain points that my product solves. So I might say something like, hey, JD, Jonathan reaching out to you. I'm not sure if the name rings a bell. You'd probably say no, it doesn't. And then I'd say something like, well, you mind if I share with you the reason why I called you real quick, and you can let me know whether there's anything worth talking about? So I'm getting permission by you, first of all. It's something most sales guys don't do. They just launch into blah, blah, blah. Here I am, here's my product. That doesn't work, And then, so I want to get permission, right? And then if they give me permission to share, I might say something like, how, and I always start with that. So that's my line. How, ... So if your listeners are like, I don't know how to create a 30-second commercial, maybe just start by writing the words, how, and then launch into I always use a stroke at the beginning. What I mean by a stroke is I say something complimentary to the business owner. So in my world, like, what we do is we teach people sales training. Immediately, if I go into like, yeah, we do sales training and da-da-da-da, you know what the business owner does? He goes, oh, I'm awesome at that. Or my team's great at that. Defense walls go up, right? We don't need that. We're the perfect sales team. We know exactly what we're doing. This is my company, blah, blah, blah. So I diffuse and get rid of that defense wall by giving him a stroke. So I do stroke, pain. I'll touch on a pain point, and then I use the word impact. I'll find an impact that pain's causing in his life. So I may say something like, how, successful business owners like yourself, they have a growing team, a healthy team. There's the stroke, right? But they find that their team's working off a different playbook. They got some guys that are rainmakers, some guys aren't really hitting quota. Everybody seems to be working from their own page, and it's probably causing you, here's the impact, probably causing you, a little less on the bottom line each month. And then I'll say something like this. It's called a negative reverse. I'll say, I don't know your world like you do. Does that make sense? Is it worth us spending a minute talking about? Because when I say that, I'm giving them permission to give an out. And I'm also acknowledging that who am I to make a suggestion in your world? I know nothing about you. And I don't want to come across like, yeah, I've got some advice for you, because I don't do that. Imagine going on a first date with a girl and being like, I got some advice here. Why don't we change the car you drive and the way you do your hair and makeup? And like, it just doesn't work that way in the real world. And so you never want to get in front of a prospect for the first time on a call or a cold walk-in and just start telling them how to change their business. So I find that a 30-second commercial that includes, permission to, hey, is it okay if I share with you what I'm here to talk to you about? Sure. And then go after a stroke. Hey, you got a great growing business. Obviously you're successful. Kudos to you. Typically I work with guys like you, and then I'm going to go into pain, and they're paying money for Google. They're on certain websites trying to get ads, but they don't always get the most reviews, and sometimes that can affect who people end up going with, and they're leaving dollars on the table my company helps with that. I don't know your world like you do, but is any of that worth sharing a minute and talking a little bit about? I find that that's just a helpful approach when meeting with business owners, rather than just talking about my features.
Sure. Super, super knowledgeable right there. But I really appreciate you sharing that. That is
cool.
That's deep. That's deep and awesome. I love it.
All right. Thanks, JD.
So, all right. So what else does your digital marketing company do? I mean, we're talking to a digital marketer master right here. I want to hear what all you guys are into.
So here's the one thing that I feel like people are getting slow to the game, and it's going to change, guys. So if you're listening to this podcast a year from now, like, you might as well throw this out because things have changed already. I guarantee it. You have to stay up to date. Like, if you don't know about Facebook's algorithm change and how that's going to affect the type of ads you're going to create, forget it. You've got to be up on some of the stuff. One of the things that I feel like most businesses, local businesses are missing a great opportunity is influencer marketing. So what I would do if I'm a restaurant owner, like you showed that picture of that burger place, like, that's huge, right? Because the best form of advertising, no matter what technology does, is always going to be word of mouth, right? Because it's just proven to be the best form of advertisement. Well, influencer marketing is capitalizing on the fact that there's probably some people in your local town, in your area, that have a huge following online. They've got, for whatever reason, people are listening to their voice, their opinion. I would find ways to do some biz dev with those people. If I was a restaurant owner, I would open up my Instagram app and I would go to the recent posts that are, you can go on Instagram, you can search a specific area right here. I'm trying to show you, your viewers here. You can look at places and look at that feature right there. It says near current location. I click on near current location, and guess what happens? Well, when you're not on Wi-Fi, it usually works. Of course, for the sake of demo, it won't load.
Gotta love technology, buddy.
All right. But what happens is here, it gives me a list of places. Well, I'm in the Metro Detroit area, so I can click, Detroit, Michigan. And then Instagram tells me what the top posts are, and it also gives me most recent posts. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay a high schooler $10 an hour to comb through all of those names, and I'm going to say anyone that has a following of over 2,000 people, I want you to direct message them and say, come on down to my burger joint. I have a free burger for you. You're going to meet that guy. You're going to give him a free burger and the best time of his life, and he's going to take a photo of it and post it to his influencers. All of that costs you nothing. It costs you $10 to pay a high schooler to do it and a burger, and you're going to have word of mouth marketing like never before. I'm telling you, there's so much money being left on the table by people not getting going after influence marketers. Eventually, these people are going to come onto it. They're going to know, and you're going to have to pay them a bunch of money to do posts. Some people, if they have a large enough following, I might even offer them a little bit of money. So that's something to consider as well.
Man. All right. So you're big on social media, obviously.
That's where people's attention is.
So I have a triangle, Jonathan, that I like to, when we talk to business owners, a lot of fear around the digital marketing space, a lot of uncomfortableness. I kind of have a triangle that I like to go with, and I'll give you the term before I say it, but the snack pack, right? So the Google My Business, right? The snack pack, the top three. I call it the snack pack. So
Okay.
that's JD thing. That's a snack pack. So
you want to be in the snack pack.
Got to be in the snack pack. Our followers are starting to figure out what the snack pack really means. They're like, JD's got some cookies underneath his desk or something. I'm not sure. So I think about it like a triangle. And I always call it be found, be heard, be chosen. So be found is maybe when we talk about strictly digital marketing is more maybe the snack pack, right? Maybe something more on an SEO or a search type of idea. Be heard is a social media, and be chosen is more on the review standpoint, or when people go to ultimately make that decision to buy from you, right? And that's kind of our, yeah. So be found, be heard, be chosen. And that's just a triangle. And so that's kind of our strategy from a global standpoint in our agency. But so what's your challenges with clients? I mean, I think I love what you're talking about. Obviously you got to build a relationship. There's got to be trust there. I think we all could have a long conversation about, clients having trust with you and you having trust with clients and all that good stuff. What's the biggest breakdown? How do you get clients over the edge on some things? Because, I've done some podcasts. We've had actually, Jonathan, you have to go back and look at it. We had Chauncey Bell on not too long ago, and Chauncey's a brand new business owner. She won the national championship in women's college softball in the NCAAs in 2012. And she does hitting lessons, right? Hitting lessons and catching lessons for softball players.
Nice.
And I think Chauncey basically just says, JD, do whatever you want, right? I mean, we kind of have a pretty good relationship, but how do you get there, right? What's your advice to your business owners or, the people that you're working with in your agency more on the business side to help them along the way? Because here's my biggest belief, and I'll say my belief, and then I'll let you say what you got to say. But my belief is, we all can look at something, and I can go 0 to 60 on it in a heartbeat. I mean, I can look at somebody's website, I can look at their Google My Business page, I can look at their reviews, and I can look at their social media. And in about 15 seconds, I've got this plan formulated in my head. But I have a lot of experiences along the way. And the business owner doesn't have those experiences. And as hard as I try, I have to let them go through those experiences, right? That kind of makes sense?
Yeah. I think if you own a digital marketing company, you have to become their online digital presence consultant. And there has to be an upfront agreement that has to take place. I think you just have to say, hey, I need your trust here. I need you to like when I go to the doctors, I went to the dentist this morning. I didn't have a conversation about the process and the procedure and how he was going to fill my cavities and nothing. I totally trusted myself to him. And when I meet with clients or prospects who become clients, I talk about that up front. I'd rather fight up front than fight later on. And that becomes part of my sales pitch is like, hey, you're probably looking for someone just to throw some money. If you're looking for someone just to throw money on Google ads or do Facebook ads, things like that, I'm probably not your guy. What I would look to do is create a relationship with you where I'm basically helping you consult your brand, your whole vision for your company on every touch point online. I want to help you with that. Is that something you're comfortable with? So I begin there. And I think if we're meeting with the right client, that's a beautiful sound in their ear. Because if they admit they don't know what they're doing, they've tried things, they've, may have spent some money on Facebook ads and haven't seen any return of revenue on that. And so I just make sure that I have that conversation up front with them. I also make sure that, in each case, I don't know if I want to get the business owner on video, or I don't know if that's the right decision. I want to be able to understand the brand and the company. If it's a B2B or if it's more financial services, I may not do something goofy. My creative energies to I got to know who their audience is. And again, all my ads and everything I'm thinking about is what are the pain points of my prospect? How do I address those in a unique way, a way that creates attention, but doesn't do it in a way that goes against the brand. So each website has a touch, is a feel, you get a vibe, like you were saying, you just get a vibe about them. You can tell if the website was created in the 80s, 90s, you can tell right away. And I think messaging is important, but I think the means is important too. So if you have a good message, good sales copy, but it's on a crappy looking website, I don't want to, it just feels like you're inviting me onto a sinking ship. Come do business with us. We're dated. We are dated. It screams like we're not up on the latest technology. We're not up on the coolest trends. And, so if I work with a client, I have all those conversations up front. Nothing is off the table.
You mean it's kind of like picking your seat on the Titanic when you say dated? that's that's my analogy. Don't pick your seat on the Titanic, man, because it's going down.
Right. And a thing like reviews. So, for instance, I just took on a new client last week, and they're a heating cooling company, and they've got multiple locations, and they have a Google problem, meaning I type in heating problem, or my furnace doesn't work, heating issues, whatever the relevant keywords in his word, and his company isn't showing up in the snack pack place, right?
Snack pack.
Right.
You gotta get the double gators. These are double gators right here. Snack pack.
Right. And I also, again, because I'm his consultant now, I said, hey, I don't want to spend money on these little top ads. Our consumers are pretty smart now, and they don't even really look at them as much anymore. People become smart. But that maps feature, that place where you can put an ad on that maps feature, we got to get you on there.
Pretty good deal.
Right. Until we grow organically and get you up, that's where we're going to spend some money. And then I go and then I got to say this, hey, see that number 2 and 3, see all the reviews and you've got like 5, that's a major issue, because the thing that a consumer, like what you said, be found was huge, right? You got to be found. You got to show up on the freaking first page. Number two, how are you going to get chosen? You know how you're going to get chosen in today's world? Have a bunch of freaking reviews that are 4 to 5. That's how you're going to get chosen. And if you're not investing money in that, you're just not on top of the game. You got to do that. So, or else you're just spending money on Google AdWords. And so, like, both those things go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. You know, I just want to say something here just a little bit, is that, you know, when I talked to a JD way back, I think it was last August, and I was like, you know, catching up with him, saying, hey, JD, what are you doing? You know, and to tell me what's going on. And he told me about Bizinga, you know, and I just remember the first time that he explained the process and how this platform worked, I was like, I got to be a part of this. I could see it instantly, you know, how great this was. Now, I know we're not supposed to talk about how great our product is, but in this term, you know, it's amazing how much other stuff out there that's really kind of junk that you go up against. And just give you an example. So if you remember Chris Elliott, part of our networking team, the thing is that they came along, and his business is part of a franchise of a much bigger thing. And so the franchise says, we're going to bring in this platform and we're going to do everything. And so for the last 3 months, it's done nothing, you know, and I keep sending messages to Mike Smitha, who's the owner over there. And I say, Mike, when are you coming back? You know, it's like, hey, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And, you know, and here they are, they're spending this money, whether it's, you know, $50 a month or $500 a month, it's irrelevant. It's wasted money. And that's what I really want to be about, is only one thing, and that is results.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really the psychology of the customer, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to understand what their reservations are, what the pain, like you said, what the pain points are, right?
Right.
I mean, look, I spent 4 years, 5 years, 6 years in the reputation space only. I have talked to thousands and thousands and thousands of people about reviews and online reputation, and there's some consistencies there. My favorite is that I think we, as a consumer, as a business owner, whatever it might be, we build up this, you put 2 fallacies in your head, and we're all good at doing this, right? We all put fallacies in our head, right? I mean, we're just great at it because we want to make excuses. You know, the first one is I don't want reviews, or I can't get reviews. I can't get Google reviews or online reviews. I just can't get them. And then the second thing is because I can't get them, I don't want them. So that's what you got to overcome. If you overcome that, go ahead.
And JD, having these conversations with business owners is so important. You can do it two ways. It can be your data transferred to them, or you can ask the right questions where they self-discover the reason why they might need these results. So for instance, a question might be, hey, business owner, hey, you've seen those reviews on Google. Scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think those are when people are looking up what dentist to choose from? Now he's self-discovering what that is, rather than me, the sales guy, going, it's the most important thing on Google, blah, blah, blah. That's best interest to sales guy.
You mean you shouldn't talk to him about Moz and what percentage reviews are in the Moz ranking? That's probably not really relevant, right?
Not yet. You need to ask me questions first. Again, in any sales interaction, the only data that matters is your prospects, not yours. So asking the right question, like, hey, I noticed on your website, which, by the way, like, this is what's so crazy about this space, is you can add so much value to your prospect before you even walk in their building, right? You can say, hey, noticed on your website, blah, blah, blah. Noticed, hey, I typed in Google and noticed you weren't here. I'm sure you probably have all that covered, but in case you don't, I did a quick little audit. I'm not sure if it's worth going over with you, but if it is, I'd love to share it with you. If not, no worries. It takes the pressure off. Well, yeah, what'd you find? I mean, who isn't going to ask that? And you could say, well, you probably aren't interested in those little review things. Those probably don't help your business grow, right? Oh, no, I do, but they don't work because I can't get them. I'd be like, that makes sense. Again, stroke, that makes sense. No, you're wrong. If I say that, sales over. So no, that makes sense. If there was a way that I could get you more reviews, would that be something worth talking about a little bit? Well, yeah. You're like, okay, what if I did it just for free for 5 days, and then you don't have to worry about if I'm a sales guy trying to sell you a product? Why don't I do it for 5 days, and then I'll meet with you and we'll see what happens. And I'll explain you the process. Is that cool? Yeah, okay. That's to me the best way to go at any sales call. It's not, I've got a product for you, come listen to my speech. No, it's asking the right questions, touching on the pain points of your prospect, and helping them self-discover their solution.
Man, I cannot wait. I know we're going long here, so I can't wait to come and listen to your podcast, Jonathan. You're awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too. This has been enjoyable.
Just enjoy hearing what you got to say. This has been more than a blessing. We'll have to have you back on because I'm sure we could probably talk for days with our experiences and just sharing some great stories. I mean, before we got on, just so everybody knows, Jonathan, if you watched my podcast earlier today, my quick little 12-minute snippet about Meyer, without even telling Jonathan about it, he was telling me about an experience he had at Meyer before we went live, and I about died. So it did happen. We won't go back to the story because we're just totally killing the time here. And but Jonathan, thanks for coming on. Steve, what else you got? You got anything to recap with Jonathan? I know you guys see each other all the time, at least once a week, right?
Oh, well, no, it's really, it's like just 2 times a month. He doesn't want to see me any other time other than that. Right, Jonathan?
Yeah. Twice a month is good.
That's plenty. Got it covered. Yeah. We're good. Okay. So Jonathan, thanks so much for coming on, and everybody. We're going to have. I think they made reference to somebody in their group yesterday, somebody in their group that's in their group. They're going to be on tomorrow, Jonathan. So you should watch and check out and see how they do under fire, if you will. And we'll see how that goes. So thanks again, guys. I can't wait to see everybody again tomorrow.